So I'm going to show you how to put together all the NFL MVPs using Excel. So I'm going to go to Google, type NFL MVP, then go to this Wikipedia page, and all the information's here, and I just want to summarize it. I know you can find it on websites summarized, but this is just kind of a tutorial for Excel, and it also helps doing other things. So I just highlighted all the data, and I hit Control-C for copy. I'm going to open up Excel, open up a blank page, and I'm going to hit Control-V, and that dumps all the information, but I want to get rid of all that formatting, all those links. So hit Control-C again. I'm going to hold in the Alt button and hit I while the Alt button's held in, then release those two, then hit W. That just creates another tab for me. And I want to paste all the values in. So I'm going to hold and Shift, hit F10, then release, then hit S, then hit V. That just pastes the values. You could do this other ways too, but I do the shortcuts. I'm just going to make the columns bigger so you can see it easier. And I want to freeze the top pane, so I'm going to hold in Alt and then hit W while it's held in, then release those two. Then hit the F for freeze panes, and then Enter. So now the top row is frozen. So the data looks pretty clean. There's just some things we need to fix. So in 97 there were 2 MVPs, so I'm just going to copy that down. In 2003 there were 2 MVPs, I'll copy that down. Now if this data was like 10,000 rows and there was a lot of blanks, then I would write a formula to clean it up. But it's quicker if I just do it manually. But I definitely need to clean up the players. So as you can see, if somebody won a multiple MVP, they would have that number with parentheses after their name. So Jim Brown won 2, Johnny Unitas won his 3rd, and of course the 2nd. So we just have to remove those numbers in parentheses. So there's a few ways to do that. So one way, I'm going to highlight column B, and then I'm going to go to Data, and then I'm going to go to Text to Columns, and I noticed the open parenthesis is a good kind of landmark. So I'm just going to select that as my kind of break, the open parenthesis, and then go to Finish, and it should kind of like break up that area. And play around with that text to columns. It can be useful. Now just to confirm, let's just see if Jim Brown equals Jim Brown. It's false, which is pretty common. There's probably a space. There's a space after Jim Brown because sometimes when you clean the data, it's just still like trailing or leading spaces. So you just have to remove those spaces. So one way to do it is use the trim function. So if we trim this, well, there's nothing trimmed there, and we trim this. Now let's check it. It's still false. So sometimes the trim doesn't work. Let me just show you an example. So Scott, and I'll put a space after this Scott. And then if I go equals this, it's false because of that space. And now I'm going to try the trim function on this. I'll trim both of them. And I'm going to go this equals this. Now it's true because it trimmed off that space. But sometimes when you copy from different sources, like on the net, the code is kind of built in. So there's a lot of ways to remove spaces. So let's try a different way. Let's try the trim function and then nest it inside the trim function. We'll put the substitute function. So let's do it in the right cell. Okay, equals trim substitute, and then I'm going to select that cell, and then char 160 is is just the name of the function. It's not 160. It signifies something, but doesn't signify anything on the spreadsheet. It's just I think it's part of the ASCII code 160, but I'm not too sure. And then we're just gonna put a space in the end because that's what we want to substitute and trim away. Okay, I probably missed a parenthesis. That's why it gave me that message. But so let's see if now that we have. Let's see if that works. Jim Brown equals Jim Brown. Yes, that's true. Okay, so we got that cleaned up. Let's call this player 1, player 2, player 3. Okay, so now the players are cleaned up. So now that we can do our sorting and summarizing. So I'm going to select the entire the entire amount of data. And I'm going to hit insert and then pivot table. That's one good way to summarize data. And anything you do in Excel, there's 10 other ways to do the same exact thing. So these are just the ways I know how to do it. Now in the pivot table we want player 3, and we want to count how many times they won. So we'll just bring the position down because that's just going to count it. That's just to count the number of times that appears. But as long as there's only one name, it should just be once in this list. So let's sort it, largest to smallest. I just right-clicked inside of here. So you can say Peyton Manning has the most MVPs, then Jim Brown, then Brett Favre. So I'm just copying the pivot table so I don't have to re-select the data. And you can just look in different, you could look at it as, see the number of teams that won MVP. Let's sort that. So the Packers won 8 MVPs, the Niners won 5, and you could click on the 8 to see who those 8 people were. And you can see Aaron Rodgers twice, Brett Favre twice, or 3 times, Brett Favre. I'll delete that. So this is just one little routine, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's information that you want to see in a video. I could kind of like bring it to Excel and put it all together nicely and show you all the tricks. Thanks a lot for watching.